Hello, and thank you for tuning in. You are tuned in to The Encourager, and my name is Nehru. We are going to be going over the Leo sign for the series Living by the Moon. And so, again, just as a reminder, I haven't said it in a couple of videos. And I just realized that I didn't say my email in the last couple of videos as well. I'm still trying to get in the habit of doing that. But just as a reminder, the moon's lunar cycle lasts approximately 29 and a half days. And during that time, the moon sits in each zodiac sign approximately 2.5 days. Okay, and so that makes up for the 29 and a half days for a lunar cycle, and that is each and every month. Okay, that is each and every month that happens, every 30 days. So we are on to the Leo sign, which is, I believe, the 5th sign in the zodiac, starting with the Aries. Aries is the first zodiac sign. And despite January being the beginning of the year, as far as the calendar that's most used around the world. And so with that, sorry about that noise, I'm knocking over my tea box, the containers that the tea bags come in. So for Leo, your symbol is the lion. Okay? As an animal known for its fierceness, nobility, and magnificent roar. Okay, your element is fire. You are one of the 3 fire signs, Sagittarius and Aries being the other 2. You are characterized by a dynamic energy of inspiration, enthusiasm, and passion. Your planetary ruler is the sun, which represents vitality, creative life force, and a person's essence. Your modality prizes itself on reliability, predictability, and stamina. And so I mentioned in the previous video, I am a Leo Venus, and so I will not, I'm sure I not identify with all of these because the Leo placement is in my heart. Heart sign, my Venus sign. So even for modality, I can speak to the reliability and the stamina, the predictability. I would, and everyone, I don't know anyone that you could ask if I am predictable would say yes. They would say absolutely not. He is extremely unpredictable. He is not predictable at all. I think that's what most of them would say, and so that part doesn't lend itself to me directly. But again, that there are other influences in there, right? So I have a Sagittarius sun and a Gemini moon sign that are influential in there, and obviously several others in addition to the Leo placement. Okay, so Leo. Okay, so your essential needs are being acknowledged is important to you, Leo moon sign. It's important for you to be seen and recognized for the unique person that you are, whether it's being appreciated for one of your special qualities or lauded for something you've created. Having others offer you kudos is important. It's not that necessarily people. It's not that you necessarily need people circling around you, showering you with compliments all the time, but while sometimes you do not feel like you're on center stage, at other times when shyness prevails, it's not your most favorite spot. Okay, so you tend to pick the times and moments when you want to be in the spotlight, Leo moon. Though you appreciate praise, it doesn't need to be extensive. simple accolades now and then also make you happy, as they consistently remind you that people understand the value that you bring and the special person that you are. Okay, so I know this is why I left my last life. And when I say my last life, I mean the life that I was living for 46 years and 9 months. This is why I left that life, because I began to see where what I was putting out was not being appreciated. And it had been that way for a long time. When I say a long time, I mean decades, because it comes from a childhood wound. Okay. And so because of that, once I recognized that, right, because and I know this for sure, I believe on 2 separate occasions I got close to going through the dark night of the soul and something happened. I either jumped off the wagon, I got distracted by something else in this lifetime. Something else happened, okay? But this last time, whatever started in, that started in 2018, what started in 2018, I didn't know that back then. I had no clue. I didn't even know in 19. I didn't even know in 20. I didn't even start to know until 21 that things were in that situation going to look very differently than what I thought they were going to look. And all that glimmers isn't gold, right? And even all that looks gold isn't gold, right? So I had to learn that. But in learning that, I pulled myself away from everyone that I felt, which was most everyone, that I felt did not value me for who I was coming to know I really truly am. Does that make sense? Did all of that make sense? And so once I became of who I really truly am and I started loving myself, that's when I began to see where love was not genuine, because you can only attract what you are. And so once you are genuine love to yourself, you will naturally repel everything and everyone that is not that to you, unless you lower yourself back to not loving yourself. And then you get to keep those low vibration friends, family members, associates, job, spouse, whatever it happens to be. You get to keep those low vibration things if you choose to stay in low vibration. And so loving and being loved. Okay, Leo rules the heart. Okay. And as such, being the organ whose beating rhythm sustains life and the emblematic symbol that represents love. And while love stories, rom-coms, and romantic poetry may delight you, you also strive to live a life filled with ardor and adoration. Reflecting this, being the object of someone's affection is exceptionally nurturing for you, as is adoring someone so much that the mere thought of them makes your heart proverbially skip a beat. Okay, and so this could happen. I could tell you for sure. This could happen if you've ever been in love, right? And I know for sure that if someone would have asked me, have I ever been in love? If someone would have asked me that in 2013, I would say yes. And I would say at that time, the 2 relationships that I had, and I just go back 10 years, that's why I picked 2013. I would say yes, based on the relationships that I had at that time. Someone asked me in 2020 how many times had I been in love, I would probably say twice. And the first one, the separation or the breakup and all of that, it didn't hurt so much. And I really believe it was because, one, I was in the military, and so there was so much to distract me that I didn't have time to mourn over that. I didn't have time to grieve over that. I didn't have time for that, because I was busy. I was soldiering. Whereas the second one, all I had was myself. All I had was isolation. All I had was emotional starvation. And again, emotional starvation is not a bad thing, right? That's all I had. And so that situation was the one that triggered me to awaken to who I really truly am and my value. Okay. And so don't be afraid. Again, it's a bold step, Leo Moon. It's a bold step, but it is well worth it, because anything that no longer serves your good, people keep cars that don't run in their yard all the time. They do it all the time. But what purpose does it serve? You know, I mean, after a year of telling yourself you're going to get to it, if you haven't bought the first bolt to it, it's safe to say you're not going to get to it. You should probably get rid of it. And hopefully I'm helping out some women who are trying to get their husbands to get rid of some junk toys, maybe. So maintaining your dignity. Leo is the sign of royalty, and for those who have their moon here, maintaining a sense of dignity is of the utmost importance. After all, yours is the sign of queen and king, not the fool. While you have a creative spirit that wants to express itself, you also carry within you a heightened level of self-consciousnn. So, Leo, you care about the way that you look. And I say all fire signs do. I've dated several fire signs because as it turns out, again, I did not know this years ago. I did not know this when I started dating. Well, no, I did know this when I started dating the last fire sign, which was my last relationship. But the one that got me, or I guess that launched me into my dark night of the soul, was that relationship did not last very long. The one that launched me into my dark night of the soul is the whatever you want to call it, flame journey. I don't know what to call that flame. It's just, I don't know, ashes at this point. I don't know what to call that. But because I don't want to name it something inappropriately that it's not, or give credit where credit is not due, or what have you. But that relationship was, I believe, the third one this lifetime. One, the third time that I had been in love, and two, it was, I believe, my final time, only because what happened in the previous lifetime with this individual, to correct this, because in the previous lifetime they actually unalived me. So yeah. Your superpowers, Leo Moon. Okay, so Leo Moon, you are generous. Okay, so you are a giver. You are a giver without expectation of a response or a reply. But as we read about a moment ago, it is important for this giver who has or this individual that has this superpower. You could have this superpower and not be a Leo Moon, by the way, just like any of the other characteristics that I mentioned, or traits. And so, Leo, you want to make sure that, one, you're not overgiving, so you're not giving out a false empathy, right? Oh, well, everybody asked me, I might as well anyway, type of thing. You want to regulate that, because people will use and abuse you and use you up. They will do that. And so you want to make sure of that. And with your generosity, as we read earlier, I was going to mention about the recognition. Okay, so make sure, Leo, that you are not doing the generosity only for, or extending generosity only for the purpose of recognition. Okay. Creativity. You're deeply creative. It's essential for you to take your inner inspirations and use them as a prima matera. That's I'm guessing Italian or Latin. I don't know. Yeah, Latin. To bring things to life. Given birth to ideas, inspiration, and even children is a generative act that speaks to your soul. And so I know me, children are a strong part of my call, my purpose. I do hope to one day be afforded the opportunity to have visitation at St. Jude and be able to sit and talk to and, I don't know, commune with the children there. That would bless me far more than it could, in my opinion, than it would ever do for them. In my opinion, that's definitely on the bucket list. So your charisma, Leo Moon, okay? Others are quite attracted to your warmth of spirit and how you bring your heart to all you do. You've got a magical charm that radiates from deep within you, some of which may derive from the childlike wonder through which you navigate the world. Others find it captivating as it reminds them of the powers of youth and the rewards of an unjaded perspective. We can all benefit from an unjaded perspective, right? Because that's what this channel and other channels are here trying to do. And it doesn't matter who they are. It doesn't matter. I often speak against religious leaders because most of them are spewing lies from a book that's been RAPED'd by man and lacks most of what it should have. And that's the other 45 plus books that man hides from us. But with that, there are obviously, of course, ministers that are speaking the truth. And so one of the mistakes that man makes, and I try not to make, is making general statements, just blanket statements without quantifying exactly what they're speaking to, right? So it's like saying men are dogs. Men are not dogs. First of all, men are human beings, right? Men are not dogs. Some men might act like dogs, right? But to just say men are dogs is I could say all women are itches. That's not true. Like, of course it's not true, right? Like, no, right? So, no, just your experience with that particular individual has you seeing them as one. So it would be better to say that person is this instead of just making blanket statements. I've never been one for mass punishment in the military or as a child growing up. I don't agree with punishing everybody until somebody tells the truth. I don't agree with that. You should be intuitive and be able to tell when your children are lying to you, period, point blank. Right? You don't need to punish all of them until one of them tells you the truth. You're functioning in your 3D and matrix mindset. Yeah, check yourself, parent. Check yourself. Kryptonite. Okay, so pride. While maintaining your dignity is really important to you, at times it can be an obstacle to sourcing the unfettered joy you love to feel. After all, if you're adverse to trying new things for fear of embarrassment, it could have you feeling stifled, not feeling able to express your thoughts and feelings. Of course, while it's important for you to feel proud, try not to let pride, get in your way of sharing yourself and your gifts with others. Okay? So don't become discouraged, Leo Moon, if you are not receiving acknowledgement because of your generosity. Okay? I speak to my generosity or give examples of it here because I'm sharing and it's in conversation. And despite all the trolls, stalkers, and whatever else who might be listening in, and people from my past who I left, then yeah, it's a safe place here. At least I do my job to make it so. Okay? And I do that energetically. I do that to make it so. Okay? So I return to sender all the evil eyes, all of the spell work that's set to cause this channel or this word to not reach those individuals that it's meant to reach. And I do my energetic work just like I advise you to do your energetic work. Okay? But yes, Leo Moon, don't be discouraged if those accolades or acknowledgments do not come because of your generosity. Because the generosity should not determine whether or not your accolades should not determine whether or not you give or what have you. It should never determine that. Okay? That should be a heart issue. Okay? Only. Self-orientation. Leo Moon, your moon sign takes many clues from its planetary ruler, the sun, including a desire to sometimes feel at the center of things. Of course, while having a well-developed ego is important, as it can amplify your confidence to meet challenges, an overactive need to be in the spotlight can cause issues, including upsetting relationship dynamics. While you should never dim your light, knowing when it's best to turn on your brightness or turn your brightness up and down is a skill that yields great reward. So knowing when to be aggressive and when to be, I was going to say receptive. I guess you can be aggressive and receptive at the same time, but that's probably difficult to do in the moment. You probably lend your attention one way or the other. And so with that, again, it's all about balance and making sure that you do not overextend yourself, right? And also that you do not go into an egoic type of state where or low vibration where the only thing that's important to you is what is hanging on the wall or what's in a trophy case. Okay? Kobe Bryant said that he wanted to, when he retired, he said when he was a senior in high school, he said when he retired he wanted to be known as the greatest basketball player ever. It's interesting that his focus was to be the best basketball player ever. His goal wasn't to be better than any one particular person or to be like any one particular person. He had his own goal. He had his own focus. Okay. And he set out to achieve that. Okay. And so whatever your passion is, whatever your focus is, whatever your desire is, Leo Moon, and this is for everyone, of course, be passionate about that. Pursue that with everything in you. When you find and discover what that is, most people, I really truly believe, unfortunately, live lifetimes without ever discovering what their true passion is, right? And some of them lived just this lifetime alone, and they've lived 70, 80, 90 years, and they still have that question, like what am I here for, right? I think that is unfortunate, but I know that there's an answer, and that answer is within them, is where that answer is. And so even with that, it's important to maintain a level head and not become so prideful that again, we slide into a low vibration, ego, manipulating, narcissistic, false sense of self type of place. Okay, because that's not a good thing. That's way too much in the 3D matrix, and not nearly enough in focusing on your spiritual self. Nurturing strategies. Being creative. Those with Leo moons see the world as their canvas, a colorful landscape in which they can express their unique selves, a place where their dreams and visions can take shape and come alive. I know for most fire signs, and again, I speak to fire signs because I have those placements, major placements in my chart. Okay, but I mentioned earlier that I've dated specifically Leos and Sagittarians I've dated. So my birthday is November 29th. I've dated someone who was born November 30th, December 1st, December 3rd, yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, right. So, yeah. So with that, the style, fire signs, not to say that other signs don't, but I have noticed in particular, fire signs care a lot about how we look. Okay? Even if it's jeans and a t-shirt, we care about how we look. Okay? And I mention this because of the pride aspect, because there is something to caring about the way that you look, but not to the point where you need to put on your eyelashes to go check the mail. Like, it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like that. Hopefully you don't need to wear eyelashes. And if you do, hopefully they look natural and they don't have you looking like a clown if you choose to wear those. Okay? But yes, so I just like some things are just way too much, right? Men, we should not feel like we're dating a mannequin, when it's all said and done. That should not be the case. Like, a woman should not be so plastic. Like jelly in the titties and whatever, gel in her ass and all the lips injected with this and eyelashes and painted on eyebrows and wear some flesh, yeah. So that's my whole take on all that. So anyway, not that that has nothing to do with Leo moon, right? But I know for sure we can be that way as far as our looks are concerned. Not that extreme, but we can. Yeah, we care a lot about our looks, fire signs. And so with that, we also have to temper that. And again, know that be comfortable with the way that you are as you continue to better yourself, right? So be honest with yourself. If you know you need to lose the weight, you need to lose the weight, right? If you, if you know you need to gain weight, maybe you need to gain weight, right? That's possible for some people, right? If you're dealing with some type of weight loss, maybe because of some illness or something like that, whatever that happens to be, right? Be comfortable with who you are, for who you are, and for yourself. Okay, never do something out of pride or ego in order to get accolades or attention from someone else. Okay, and express your artistic abilities, Leo Moon, because we need that. Okay, in whatever way. You might be a wedding planner, you might be an interior designer, you might be an architect, you might be an artist that uses canvas, so you're a painter, you're a drawer, you are a drawer artist. Yeah, whatever it happens to be, you're a sculptor, what have you. So yeah, we need those things. Okay. Pampering yourself. Caring for your well-being doesn't necessarily have to equate to sacrifice and asceticism. In fact, there are many health-supporting activities that are not only enjoyable, but that will have you feeling royally pampered. The act of granting yourself permission for indulgences can itself be really nourishing. So last week, Sunday, I asked us to do an exercise where we look in the mirror on a daily basis, as often as we think about it, and we tell ourselves that we love us. Okay, and that was an exercise in pampering ourselves. Okay, I encouraged the men to go out and get a manicure, pedicure, and they could choose a color if they choose to. But yeah, that's what that was, right? And that's what it should be every day. Every single day, your focus should be the love for yourself, and then it should be such that it is automatic. So then it becomes a conscious and subconscious thing. And so then you don't have to think about, oh, yeah, I need to take my whole lunch because I want to spend some extra time with myself today. You don't have to do that. You just automatically do it just automatically falls into place, right? So when you need to spend time for yourself, it will get to a point to where you will have that time for yourself. But you have to put those wheels into motion, and if those wheels need grease, then we need to oil them, right? So being playful, okay? Thinking about your wide-eyed wonder and fun-loving nature, it's no surprise that Leo is the sign associated with children. Activities that speak to your strong childlike spirit and zest for life will make your heart sing. Plus, having fun is not only your strong suit, but a surefire way to relaxation for you, Leo Moon. So, I know for me, again, I speak to my childhood often, and how I grew up needing to be very serious, and because I was the eldest, and yeah, that's the house I grew up in, at least for the first 11 years, and then I moved in with Kevin I moved in there, and so. Yeah, but he wanted me to be playful, right? So again, everything that he did, and perhaps I speak so much about about the polygamy and my first wife becoming one of his women and all of that, that I don't speak so much to the good things, but there were definitely good times. He took me to see Michael Jordan play in Chicago before we relocated to Florida. I am the only one of my siblings, that has seen Michael Jordan play in person. And it's sad that he did that after one of the women won 2 tickets off the radio. He should have taken them or let her choose who she wanted to take, but he didn't. And yet I'm glad I went. So, yeah. So yeah, there were fun times, great vacations. I remember our vacation here in Florida. I remember lots of things, right? So he understood, at least from that point. And again, there were moments, glimpses that were there that he really He is a brilliant man. He just chose to make atomic bombs with his life. And so, yeah, we all have that opportunity and choice. So being playful and remaining in that childlike energy, Scripture speaks to becoming as a child. A child is imaginary, and a child's imagination runs wild, right? This is why you should, up to a certain point, you really should let a child imagine, right? As long as it doesn't become violent or offensive or what have you, right? You should really let a child explore and let them be themselves in that imaginary state and place as long as possible, because that is going to be such a huge aid for them when they get older, because new inventions are created by those who think childlike, not those who think inside the box, the crib, if you will, not inside the crib. Not those. It's the ones who crawl outside the crib. I hope I was one of those kids. I know I was walking at 7 months, so I was ready to go. But yeah, those individuals, okay? So being an adult physically and having whatever education we carry, whatever wisdoms we carry, right? Also be one to be willing to think outside of the box and be playful and imaginary. Okay, you have to imagine being able to pick up a device and talk to someone on the other side of town through a wire. You'd have to imagine that in order to begin to create that, because up until that point, nothing had been created that would do that. So how would that be? You would have to imagine that. Michael Jackson said, when asked how does he come up with the lyrics for his songs, he said that God gives him his lyrics when he's dreaming. He said Holy Spirit gives him his dreams and give him his lyrics in his dreams. Michael Jackson said that. So you have to be imaginary. You have to be in a kid-like state. And again, despite whatever his personal life was or whatever else, that's a remarkable acknowledgement by someone who is an icon the world over, right? I mean, you name the number one music artist of all time, his name's gonna be up there, right? And you're talking about of all time, across any culture, any generation, yeah, his name's going to be up there, right? And so for him to say that's saying a lot, okay? And so, yeah. But that's a part of that imaginary mindset. You have to imagine, right? Who would have thought that a software would change the way that we do business, the way that we communicate, who thought? And it would be called Microsoft. Somebody imagined that. Somebody did. A long time ago in the 80s, 70s, whenever that was. He did. And here we are. Okay? Your stress spotlight, or what you should really pay attention to, is wavering confidence, Leo Moon. Because again, if you do not get the acknowledgement, self-doubt can creep in. Did I do that right? I shouldn't have given to them. No, don't do things for the acknowledgement. Do things because it's heart-led. Okay? I'm just reading here. For a flower essence that can help you have more confidence in your competence and really hear others when they speak about the gifts and talents you have, consider Larch, L-A-R-C-H. So that's a flower, okay? So consider Larch, and I may look into that myself. All right, so health focuses are your spine, Leo Moons. Okay, so Leo Moons, It makes sense that the spine is one of the realms of the body ruled by Leo. After all, your moon in the sign associated with confidence, formidable resolve, and strength of character, you're known for your strong backbone. Hence the Leo sign, Lion. Okay. Plus the sun's ruler, plus with the sun as Leo's ruler, your moon is associated with vitality and vigor. Consequently, in yogic wisdom traditions, one of the main channels through which life force energy trades is the spine. Okay, and so one of the things that I do as a energetic way of imagining the energy going up to my pineal gland, right? So the energy in your root chakra is located at the base of your spine. Then your sacral chakra below your belly button, and solar plexus below your rib cage, right? Below your sternum, okay? And so these three, right, they really, when you're meditating, for instance, okay, when you're doing healing chakra work or what have you, chakra meditation, these energies flow up your spine, and I imagine the three colors, red, orange, and yellow, flowing up my spine and into my pineal gland, right? That, again, is located between my skull, above, but between my occipital nerves, like right at the very top, underneath, or inside my scalp, okay? And so I often imagine those three colors going up my spine when I'm meditating, going up my spine and into that area, especially if I'm doing a Kundalini meditation. Okay? And so, again, that goes back to the childlike imaginary thing. There's so much of manifesting that I do through my imagination that it's safe to say the majority of the manifesting that I do is not through words. It's through imagination. It's through my thoughts. Okay. As a man thinketh, so is he. Okay. All right. So let's get to looking at the Leo moon coupled with the 12 sun signs. Okay. So Aries, Leo, you've got unbounded energy and team with excitement. While you're happy to do your own thing, getting recognition for achievements is something you always appreciate. With a self-starting Aries sun and self-expressive Leo moon, you're a pioneer when it comes to creativity. Okay. Taurus, Leo, slow and steady wins the race. That is, as long as you have the latitude to be yourself along the way. While you try to be diligent when it comes to your resources, sometimes your generosity leaves you a bit overextended. Okay? It is important to pay homage to both your practical Taurus side and your fun-loving Leo moon. Gemini, Leo, your mind is bright and you want to be recognized for your unique perspectives. You have a flair for infusing your words with artistry and sometimes even drama. With your Gemini sun, you're a polymath with numerous interests. Given your moon in Leo, it's important that people see this as a valuable asset. Okay. And again, if they don't, allow them to be as they are. Okay, you know who to give to and who not to give to. Abraham Hicks says, by knowing what you do want, you know what you don't want. By knowing what you don't want, it uncovers what you do want. Okay, so knowing who are bad for your energy, it reveals who you do want in your energy, and you attract those individuals. Okay, all right. Cancer, Leo. You love taking care of others as it lights you up and feels like a part of your part of your being. I'm sorry. The light is... hold on one second. It fills your heart to be generous with those you love, with your demure Cancer sun and radiant Leo moon. Sometimes you like to do your magic from behind the scenes and sometimes in clear view. I know for me, I have been, until my great awakening, I was reluctant to be out in front. I didn't want to be out in front. I enjoyed being this great, amazing, powerful being or whatever it was, right, behind the scenes. Okay, and even still, I very rarely show my face on the camera. I very rarely do those things because, again, one, I don't think facial recognition is important when it comes to what I'm saying. But that's part of it. You know, that's part of it. And eventually, I know that's going to have to go away because eventually there are going to be podcasts. Eventually, there's going to be who knows whatever. Who knows what doors Most High is going to open up with me stepping fully into what I'm supposed to be doing. So, however that goes, I know that, you know, one day there will be a day, and my face will probably be on every video. Who knows? But that is part of the way that I used to function, and in some way I still do. I mean, I'm not a volunteer leader kind of person. I'm kind of like give everyone else the opportunity to shine, and then if no one else decides they want to shine, then I'll stand up and I'll be like, okay, I'll do it. That's kind of how I am, right? I'm not the first one to raise my hand. Unless it's to help someone. I'm not the first one to... Who wants to officiate this? I'm not going to be the first one to raise my hand. Definitely not. You know, that's not... it's not what I'm going to do. Okay, so if you are a double Leo, okay, so Leo Sun, Leo Moon, a double Leo, you have a generous spirit and skill for finding situations that allow you to share your heart's wishes. You seek out experiences that have you feeling like you're the king or queen of your realm. Your playfulness and childlike spirit are some of the qualities by which people know you. Oops, sorry about that. I almost knocked a cup of tea down. That would not be good. So Virgo, Leo, when you marry your eye for detail, precision with your artistic flair, you can be a master of crafting unique solutions. Find ways to honor both your Virgo sun sign desire for organizing and your Leo moon need for creative freedom. Just don't hold yourself up to too high a standard, or you will stifle yourself and your ability to express. Okay? And we have Libra Leo. Social relations really brighten your life. Gathering with friends gives you joy, and if there's delicious food and an artful environment, all the better. When you bring your Leo moon generosity to your alliances that your Libra sun so cherishes, everyone wins and feels special. So I was reminded when I was reading this of like an art festival. Right? And and I used to go to those on a regular basis. I definitely look forward to getting back into those, especially the ones that are outdoors. Scorpio, Leo. Okay, Scorpio, Leo, you love when people recognize your ability to solve mysteries. Giving yourself giving yourself the freedom to boldly own your desires is a key to your happiness. With a Scorpio sun, you may want to hide your deep feelings, and yet with your expressive Leo moon, sometimes it may be a challenge to keep things under wraps. Okay. Sagittarius Leo, you love feeling inspired and are enthusiastic about sharing your discoveries with others. Traveling brings out your playful side. As a Sagittarius sun, your beliefs are important to you. With the Leo moon, you've got a knack for sharing them creatively and with the unique flair for which you are known. And that is all me. That is, yeah, that's who I am. Even though I'm not a Leo moon, that's who I am. Definitely enjoy discovering new things. To inspire and to be enthusiastic is me. I'm the ultimate optimist. And friends will say that. They will say that that's how I always am. Things are always, the glass is half full and being poured into as we speak kind of thought or mentality. And with that, again, I've been naive at times when the truth was staring me square in the face. And so that being too much of that energy, again, that lends itself to some downfalls and some obstacles. Okay. Capricorn Leo, you're the kind of person who could build an empire dedicated to sharing the things you love. Sometimes, though, your Capricorn judiciousness and Leo playfulness can clash. I could definitely see that. Finding outlets that allow you to be both hardworking and fun-loving is a key. I'm reminded again of the attorney or the politician that pours their entire life into their work, their career, but they miss all the recitals, the baseball games, the award ceremonies, and all of that for their kids. They miss the promotion that their spouse got, the Christmas parties. They miss all those things, right? Because they're way too much in their Capricorn, energy. Okay, Aquarius Leo, you love when you can contribute your creative talent to a collective project. It makes your heart sing when you can be yourself and also be a part of something larger than yourself. With an Aquarius sun, you like to march to the beat of your own drum, and with a Leo moon, you don't mind if people applaud you for this. Okay? Pisces Leo, with a poetic Pisces sun and an expressive Leo moon, you're a visionary who dreams in color, an artist who taps into their magnetism for creative inspiration. While you're naturally sensitive to others, what sometimes stands in your way of being fully empathetic is when you feel that doing so will make you invisible. Okay, so don't let your good deeds or the lack of recognition for your good deeds, Leo moon, do not let those go or turn you bitter. Okay, people don't recognize your good deeds for any number of reasons. Maybe they feel as though you get enough recognition as it is, or as is. Okay, and if that's the case, then that's fair. Again, we're all entitled to our own thoughts and our own opinions, but again, them showing you that lets you know what you don't want. So you don't want that type of friend. You don't want that type of individual, co-worker, whoever that person happens to be in your energy space. So by seeing what you don't want, you see what you do want. Okay, helps you to see what you do want. Okay, and then you can focus on what you do want. Oh, now I see I don't want the cheating spouse. I want the faithful spouse, the one that's faithful to me and me only. Oh, okay. So you focus on and imagine yourself with a faithful spouse. Okay. So thank you so much again for tuning in. You've been listening to the Living by the Moon series. I am using the reference or the book is written by Stephanie Gailing, and the full title is The Complete Guide to Living by the Moon, a holistic approach to lunar inspired wellness. And this has been the Leo reading, even though it's not a tarot reading. This has been the Leo reading for Living by the Moon. My name is Nehru. You've been tuned into The Encourager. Thank you so much, and as always, be encouraged.